here in your arms, just like I dreamed it would be. I feel like we're frozen in time. You're the only one I could see. Hey, I've looked all my life for you. Now you're here. Hey, I've spent all my life with you. All my life. And I never really knew how to love. I just hope somehow I'd see just for a little life from above. Send an angel down to me. Hey, I've looked all my life for you, and now you're here. Hey, I've spent all my life with you, all of my life, all of my life. Never thought I could be in love so tenderly, and I never thought I could let it show. Now my heart is a mercy. This love will never leave. I know. Hey, I've looked all my life for you. Now you're here. Hey, I've spent all my
Hello, it's Sista Moorino in the house. Welcome.
all my life. Hey, I've looked all my life for you, and now you're here. Hey, I've spent all my life with you, all my life, all my life. Hey, I've looked all my life for you. Now you're here. Hey.
Hello there, this is Sista Moorino. Welcome this afternoon. This is the Sista Moorino show. I'm here with Brother Bless again. And as I like to say, usually we just give praise to the Most High. Welcome, audience. Welcome, Bless Radio audience. How are you, Brother Bless, today?
Yeah, that's
good
how
to
I
hear.
am. That's how I am. Giving thanks to life, the experiences of life. You know what I mean? And the amazing, how can I explain it? The amazing way the Most High moves through us if we listen. You know, that's what I like to say. Yeah,
That sounds good.
Yeah,
That
man.
sounds really, really good.
big things are going on, man.
Absolutely. Big things are
Yep.
going. Big things are going.
Definitely big things are going on.
You know, and because you've said that, I just want to play something, if you don't mind. Just for the audience, I just want you to have a quick listen before we carry on.
What are you gonna play?
I'm going to play something that's going to really inspire the community to realise that we as black people are doing great things, regardless of what seems to be happening. And I wanted to focus a little bit on some of the great things that are happening. So have a listen.
Yeah. So, yeah, because she's going to tell you something about what's going on in the community. Okay, it's Saved by the Bell. Yeah, I can't work that one right now. I'll type the Miss Calling crew. All type brother Sion. You know what I mean?
Okay, are we ready?
We are you.
Me. Okay.
Yeah, go on.
Okay, here we go.
Breaking news. Blacklinks celebrates its 20th year anniversary as it expands globally. Blacklinks is the #1 directory for Black-owned businesses, organizations, and events. Get promoted and seen for free. Yes, free. Get even more promotion with videos, images, and audios in the fully interactive iDirectory and iMagazines. Blacklinks is the best way to discover Black-owned businesses and events. Visit Blacklinks now at www.blacklinks.global.
Hello there, this is Sista Moorino. Yeah, this was about Blacklinks. Blacklinks is celebrating its 20th anniversary this year. That it has gone global. It's around the whole world.
Hold on. Who and what is Blacklinks?
Well, Blacklinks is, I mean, I'm going to just be speaking in short, but it's basically like multiple businesses that are working together, like a directory of affiliates that come together and they advertise through Blacklinks. And I mean, there's a lot more to speak about, but yeah, they've been doing that kind of work for 20 years, and that their 20th anniversary represents the fact that they have gone global. So they've done a remarkably well.
Blacklinks has been doing this for 20 years, yeah, and it's on it now. I'm just hearing about them.
I don't know. It's quite a local person that is dealing with Blacklinks. Brother Bless. It's a very local person, okay. and that goes to show. No, not at the moment. Not at the moment.
Well, he's not that local, then, is he?
But he did say that that Brother Clifford was an important part of Blacklinks in the early days.
That's the brother that was in last week.
Absolutely, yeah, Brother Clifford Headley, and maybe what we'll have to do is get Brother Headley to possibly come back and let us know more about the Blacklinks.
Yeah, because I think if there is an outlet to promote black business, I think we should all know about it, and I didn't know about it, so it ain't been promoted that much. Yeah, I'm saying it like on a real, because that means it would have been, maybe I'm not so much into the social media, but it's something that should be talked about everywhere. Absolutely.
But I did look at the website and it looks amazing, and where they're going is amazing, and I just wanted to kind of cross-reference that, that positive statement about us becoming actually economically more viable, potentially more economically viable through organisations like Blacklink, and I'm clapping. Well done to you guys. We salute you for the works that you've done, the pioneering works you have done to be able to work together with so many different black people, and it shows that we can do it. Yes, we can.
Obama said that.
No, but
mess up things.
I said that last week.
Said that and mess up things. He said when he said we, he never included us.
No, he didn't.
All right, he's supposed to say yes, them can, not we.
Absolutely. No, I agree with you, because it sounds like a contradiction. But yeah, yes, we can. Where does that come from? Is that
Obama?
No, it comes from Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
It's something about his Nike trainer or something originally, I think.
Well, Obama teeth it, and he's got the copyright to that now.
No, he definitely depleted it for me, the term. But anyway, so really, what I wanted to kind of say to you, Brother Bless, is that I was so happy about the session we had with Mr. Headley last week, and I was really on a little bit of a buzz leaving the studio. And I remember I did call you, because within 10 minutes of leaving the studio, I came upon, I hit Tottenham High Road, and just before I hit the police station, there was an absolute altercation with two, I don't even know, but a few young people, and a young black teenager was stabbed, and he was trying to make his way to the police station. And the altercation, I think, ended at that particular point. And not that he died or anything, and, you know, I don't even think it was absolutely serious, but it just goes to show we were having this kind of positive show here, and we were totally unawares of what was going on in and around us. And that's how we're living nowadays. We're living with the threat of crime from our own children that we don't even understand. And I kind of feel like we need to throw some light on the situation, or we need some solutions that maybe the audience can help us with, because we truly need to be able to resolve these problems. And we're hoping that with, you know, like organisations and businesses like Blacklinks, that we could in the future be marrying some of these groups with some of these young people, just to be able to take them off the streets and maybe look at the psychological issues, the issues about living with different communities that are coming in as refugees, different situations that create different dynamics that create the situation that we may be in. And the thing I wanted to put to you, Brother Bless, I don't know how you feel about it, and I'm trying to be sensitive, but I was trying to understand. I don't know if you remember, maybe about 10 years ago, roughly, that, you know, there was a lot of war-torn areas, like in the Sudan and places that sought refuge from the United Kingdom, and they sent a lot of these kids who was, you know, children soldiers into areas that were, you know, predominantly black areas. And I kind of feel like the dynamics between those situations, those issues, may have some, maybe not major, but some input as to how we're now in a situation where we see such horrendous crime. If you understand what I mean.
All right, who's committing this crime?
Who's committing the crime?
Yeah.
Children are committing the crime.
What children?
But what I'm saying is it's a combination of children that are born here, maybe second, third generation Caribbean children. But what I'm saying is that the dynamics between the kind of other groups of people that are coming from different areas of the world with different realities, different experiences as children, may play a part in the kind of violence, the kind of evil. I'm not saying it in any negative way, and please don't take me wrong. I'm just trying to put it out there so that we can start considering, because without knowing, you can't really strategize for it.
All right. My point on that is this. A lot of people are pointing the fingers at the children, yeah? And they're stabbing one another and killing one another, and black people are doing this and black children are doing this. But nobody ain't really focusing on what white people are doing. Yeah, they're talking about black on black crime and how the black youths are killing one another, and it's appalling. Yes, it's a terrible thing, but no one ain't looking at white on white crime, right? And if they was to put white on white crime on the television, in the media, we don't see it, and it's in front of your face every day. Look, I tell you about white on white crime. Black on black crime is not this minor, yeah, because every day you see white on white crime on the television. Every single day. And what are they doing? They're bombing one another. They're fighting people, killing people for oil, killing people for land. This is white on white crime. You understand? Black on black crime, a man take a knife and stab a next man. Compared to the man who's flying his aeroplane jet, firing missiles on his own kind. They may come from a different background or a different race, but it's still his own kind.
True.
Yeah? That is white on white crime. That is crime. A crime to humanity, where they're killing thousands of people every year, every month, blowing them up for their land. So when we're looking at our black youth, and the stabbings and things, what's going on, yes, it's a terrible thing, but there's lots of reasons why these things happen, and sometimes it starts from the home. We're blaming the youth them. Some of them are to blame, but some of them are not to blame, because sometimes it starts from the home. And I'm going to give you an example how I say some of it is our fault as well. We, the parent, won't take responsibility for the way some of the youths them are carrying on. Some of them, especially those who are killing one another and fighting one another. An example of this, they say the abused become the abuser. And when a child grows up and sees mommy and daddy fighting all the time, he may grow up and do the same thing. You understand? And then, or he goes out of school and get bullied. He has to defend himself. Now, girls ain't so bad. They don't have the problem what boys do. Yeah, I went to an all-boys school, yeah, and I had to go to school with a knife every day. Standard.
What school was that?
Not telling you.
Oh, go on.
Yeah? No, man. Right, but I'm just trying to show you. It was an all-boys school, yeah, and man had to go to school with his knife every day. You understand? When you go to school, when you get to the gates, you got the taxman. Everybody's got to give their 10 pence or their 50p to get into school. And if you don't pay that money, you're going to get detention for being late.
Oh, wow.
You understand? So I used to go and I used to know the man them, but sometimes I give them a little 10 pence, 20 pence at the time. But then after a while when they left, we end up taking up the post on the gate. Doing the same thing what those guys used to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
You understand?
Yeah.
So when we're watching our youths, them, some of them that are actually attacking one another, where did they learn this?
From you, Brother Bless, obviously.
No, that's at school. I'm talking about I'm talking about today.
No,
yeah, my school was a roughneck school. Trust me, my school was like cold. You understand? Cold, man. Teachers get beat up. Anything can go on in there. Yeah. But the youth them today is where did they get it from?
And how is it? But it hasn't kind of been like a natural progression if we're taking it from the position that you're talking about. Because when you hear about young people who were asked by that particular man to move from his door and they killed him at his door, I said, I don't personally relate to anyone.
What guy?
That I'm not even sure where that happened, but I can't even tell you exactly where that man was killed, but it was outside his door. He came out, his family were inside, you know, a bunch of guys were standing outside, and they took it upon themselves, rather than respecting him and walk away and say, yeah, he's old or whatever they want to do to be rude, they went the extra mile and killed him. And it's not the first time. Younger people are killing older and older people.
That recently?
Yeah, definitely.
Right, so why?
Are you asking me why?
Yeah.
I don't know why, but like I said, I think that we're now living in, like I said, I think that what you're saying about the white people is that I believe that they created the circumstance of putting these different communities together that were under great stress, and it didn't make the situation better. But I do believe that they knew what they were doing when they were putting these different ingredients together and putting them all together. It was happening that Camden was the murder capital for a long period of time. And if you're looking at the dynamics of the groups that were in these elements where you're seeing large levels of crime, it will lend itself to some degree to the fact that we haven't really assessed. We were sure at the time when we saw that they were bringing in lots of refugees at the time, whether they got counselling or not, it didn't seem like that. With what we're seeing, we can't, I don't want to be subject to, we're all African here, so we're not really trying to create any problems, but I'm just talking about from a systemic racist perspective. This is how I feel that the government is always planning ways to create problems in our community.
I don't blame them.
Who?
I don't blame them.
You don't blame who?
The government.
Who do you blame?
The people.
Which people?
The people that put the government there. The people that vote for that man or that woman to represent them, and they year after year, they don't do what you vote for them to do. And throughout my parents' generation, I see that it's not happening. You vote for people and put them in power, but do they do what they say they're going to do before you vote for them? They come with all of this big thing, yeah man, we're going to do this and we're going to do that. And as soon as you put them in the position, do they do it? 80% of them don't do it. They don't do what they say.
So what would you do? I mean, what choices have you got? To me, the Labour and the
They're the same
Conservative,
thing.
exactly. So what do you mean we vote for them? What do you mean?
Who put them in power?
This is a structure that was
Yeah,
in
but
place.
I remember, so for example, they have this voting register and everything every year or whatever. The people vote for these people.
What are the choices that you're talking about that we have?
Right.
outside of
Now,
them?
this is the thing about it is this. These people or this system is created to create workers. So when you go to school, your child is educated to work for these people, to get a better job, to get a career, you understand, to be in business, to set up themselves or whatever the case may be. But we was not taught anything about ourselves at school as black people. We was taught how to work for people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they were taught to be the managers and and that's why they talk to us like, let me help you, let me teach you, let me teach you.
But that's it. Oh, we will teach you, and we will educate you, and we will give you degrees, and we will give you scholarships, and we will give you all these things, but they will not give you your history. They will not give you who you are, and they will not give you the truth. So you have been educated in a way from a people who is not of your culture, not of your background, not of your history, nothing.
Not of your soul or your spirit.
Nothing. They don't even eat what you eat. Different cultural background. So do you think you're going to be educated to become a better person to empower your people?
No, not through them.
Not through them.
No.
So in knowing this, we should have educated our own children. But we didn't. We gave our children to them. And we depended on them to educate our children, and we beat our children and force our children. Make sure you go to school. Make sure you go to college. Make sure. But do we say make sure you know yourself? Make sure you know your ancestors. Make sure you know where you come from.
Well, actually, can I just interject a little bit? You know, I like that word, interject.
You like to interject. I'm going to interject later on when I leave here anyway. You know what I mean? So it's all right.
No, don't interject later when you leave here. I want you to stay interjecting after I say something. I just wanted to give the audience a little experience. Because I grew up for years listening to all the brothers, the Rasta man, them, and everyone else telling me about the ancestors and that. And, I used to hear it and I go, yeah, of course, whatever. Until I had my own personal experience of the ancestors. And I swear to you, it's no joke. And I remember you said last week, Brother Bless, you said if someone's lying, you could just turn it backwards. You can record it backwards and find it. So you turn this part of the show backwards and find it if I'm lying. Right? I sat in my room, the television's off, obviously, bun, the television. And I'm lying down on this chair and I'm just relaxing. I suppose I must have just kind of floated off a little bit. I wasn't sleeping or nothing. I was just sitting there. And then all of a sudden, on the side of my wall was this big, like a cloud. That's the best way to explain it from me. Like a cloud. And in that cloud were all these dark-skinned ancestors of mine. Pure of them. Enough of them. So obviously they were in a realm because there's nothing. I couldn't have communed. I'm there rubbing my eyes, shaking my head, thinking, what? And it stayed there for quite a time.
Just in the middle of your room?
It was at the one corner of the room, but they took up this whole, like a whole section of the room. There's nothing.
Like a porthole?
Yeah, almost like. But they weren't being. They couldn't talk to me. But the noise that they were making in their realm was talking to me nonetheless. Do you understand what I'm saying?
They were calling you.
I felt like that, and actually, funny enough, that was just prior to coming out into the show, to start doing the show, because I think it gave me the courage, to be honest with you. I don't know whether I would have had the courage to be out here doing what I'm doing right now if it wasn't for that. So they came and they said something to me. So all I can say to you, I've always said ancestors, but I truly know that my ancestors are really around us, because I've experienced it, and all I can say is amazing.
So, but hold on, let's look at it from the other part. Certain people would have said that weed you're smoking. There was some funny jokes in their pun, right? You go to a doctor and you tell him what you saw, right? He's gonna turn around and say, "Well, look, I think we need to evaluate your situation, and I'm going to send you to see another doctor
No,
who was
a
psychiatrist,
Yeah.
who was a good friend of mine.
Yeah, of course.
Right, because that means he wants his brethren to make money too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's how it goes. Yeah. So when they send you somewhere else,
Yeah.
they want their brethren to make money. The dentists do it a lot as well.
Dentists do it a lot.
Yeah. It's all a chain. It's all a food chain. Everybody have to make a little money. You know what I mean? You have a big, like say, £50 of weed, and you have to get rid of the weed. You have to say like, you take some, you take some, you take some.
Yeah.
Everybody in my food. That's how it got.
It does. It really does go like that.
You can't tell a doctor that you saw that.
I wouldn't do that.
No, but I'm just saying hypothetically, they're
Yeah.
going to say, well, you need to see my friend
Yeah.
who's a psychiatrist.
Mm-hmm.
So that means that when you look at the whole system, is no matter, even if you went to them for help or to, even, there's certain things you cannot tell them. And I'm not being it in a racist way. I'm just showing to you that because we have not, some of us has not educated our children ourselves, yeah? And at the same time, some of our parents who came on the Windrush wasn't educated anyway. They came over here to work and to make money and to send the money back. But they just end up getting stuck here, some of them. Yeah, my father was on the Windrush, and he told me that when he came over here on the boat, it was so bad, yeah, terrible, that they had to lock the white women away.
Really?
They had to lock them away.
Where are we going? Where are we going?
Right, no, I'm just trying to show you, when we came in, some of our parents came into this country who didn't have the education that was needed to give the children the right guidance, because they came over here just to work and to make money to send back home. Most of them did. Some of them came over with skills, yes, but some of them came over mostly as laborers as well. So they didn't have the skills or the time to look after their children and educate them. And this is where we go. This is, for me growing up, I realized that's one thing that I didn't get from my parents, was to be educated about my people, about who I am, where we come from, because they didn't know. All they knew was Caribbean. You understand? And at the same time, they were taught to hate Africans. Because when they came into the country, Africans had enough of the properties renting out to some Jamaicans, but they used to treat the Jamaicans bad. Right? I'm not going to tell you how it is, because I know, I see it for myself.
I didn't know that I thought that the Windrush generation were predominantly the first element of people here. The Africans mainly came in the 70s, I think.
No, but they know what it is that there was more than the Windrush that came, you know. The Windrush is the one that they identified to the world. Oh, the Windrush, the Windrush. But there was many other ships that came with them.
No, I understand that, but I'm just saying that.
I'm just using that as an example.
No, but I understand that. But what I want to be clear about is that I didn't realise there was any major Africans here prior to the Caribbean.
Well, when we was growing up, my parents was renting a house from an African man.
Right.
Yeah. And a lot of our...
Was that in the 70s though? Because I'm just thinking
No,
that
that
there
was
a
before them time there. Yeah. So, as I said, when I was growing up, our parents was renting properties from African people.
Right.
Yeah.
Your brothers?
No, my parents was renting a property from an African man.
Yeah, I said your brothers.
No, there wasn't. That's what I'm trying to tell you. There wasn't that relationship like what we got now, because we know ourselves and we know, so we are Africans or Kemets or Moors now. But then we didn't know. Right. And the Africans knew at that time that we were from the Caribbean, which were the slaves that was brought from Africa to the Caribbean. So some of our parents was treated away because some of the African people knew that you are descendants of slaves. So some of them was treating some black people like that. I'm telling you, because I grew up and seen this for myself. Yeah. But so the point of what I'm trying to get to is that our parents worked so hard that some of them never had the time to educate the children. Right. And like today, in this moving forward now, looking at the beginning from my history, our parents never had that knowledge.
Right.
They brought us to school to get educated on something that we had nothing to do with. Nothing that we couldn't even relate to the education that the school system was giving. Me personally, I couldn't relate to it at all. It didn't make no sense. The only thing that made sense is learning how to read and write, and maybe carpentry and science and those kind of things. But everything else about what they were teaching me with history and everything, it never made no sense to me. So I left. I left school myself. So the point what I'm trying to make is our children on the streets today, some of them, the parents never educated them about themselves, left them to their own device, bought them a babysitter called PlayStation, and left them in their room by themselves with their PlayStation so that they can keep quiet.
Wow.
Yeah, and a lot of parents do that. You find a babysitter called PlayStation, and you leave the children in there with their PlayStation or their cable TV.
That's true, actually.
Just to get some peace.
And some rest. Absolutely.
And what are you doing to the child's mind?
You're allowing other sources.
Other sources to educate your child.
Absolutely.
Because you're not supervising your child. Yeah.
Wow.
Then your child grows up and see mommy and daddy arguing. No one explains to the child why mommy and daddy was having an argument.
Or they've never seen a male figure in their house.
Or yes, you've got a point. Or there is no male figure out there, which is very important. That's another key factor. Some of the youths them don't know how to be a man because they haven't been taught how to be a man. You know what I mean? I wasn't brought up to. I can only say for myself, but I had to learn the hard way. I learned from the streets. You understand? I learned what they call ghetto knowledge. So we learned from that to understand. So well, you have to survive. Our parents taught us how to survive because of racism at that time. We taught our children to go and get educated. I mean, there's nothing wrong with education if you're educating your child also about themselves and who they are and who their family are, who their ancestors are. The word ancestors was never mentioned in our house.
Never.
Never. I never knew what all I knew was auntie, uncle, granny and granddad. That was it.
So institutionalized.
Yeah,
definitely.
but you have to look at what's happened to the black family and what we've done to our children without realizing we haven't opened up to their culture to them, because some of us never know for ourselves. You understand? Some of us learn late. Like maybe when you're 16, 17, you had no idea about the Moors or anything. And maybe when after you had all your children now, then you know. You know what I mean? But sometimes we learn late or too late to share it with them. And then Babylon corrupt them. Give them PlayStation. The school dinners. We don't know what was in the school dinners when we're sending our children to school.
No.
We got no idea what we're sending them to. And you think they're going to give them something healthy.
But it makes the whole situation sound so dismal. So, you know, we've really got to look at some of the solutions here that we could be dealing with. But, you know, Brother Bless, let us continue. And I'd like to just add, though, that, like I said, I'm not trying to make any issues. I mean, obviously, Brother Bless has talked about all these different areas, and I wanted to add in the mix some of the, you know, the problems with having refugees coming to some of the poorer areas.
What do you mean refugees?
Well, like I said, there was certain refugees that came over from war-torn areas where
like Poland and
like Sudan
and all that places.
Like places
not
like
Poland, but you know, yeah, I know what you're saying.
African countries. We're talking about black on black crime and looking at the level of violence and what these people in Africa were experiencing in those kind of military situations. You know, and that they were brought up to be soldiers from an early age. Some of these children were taken out of those situations and brought here. And I'm just saying we need to look at all the dynamics. It's not just one thing or it's not just the other thing. But I just want to look at the fact of how it's played into a reality that we now see. That I'm walking out the door after the show, I'm walking around the corner, and it's right there. It's just right on your doorstep.
Yeah, but that you doesn't know that the guy that he's attacking is related to him.
No.
He's got no idea.
No.
You understand? And this is what's happening, because a lot of our children, a lot of us is related. If you really go back, we're all related one way or another. And when these youths are attacking or killing one another, they don't even know who that person is. And another example, 2 youths was in a violent fight, and one of them stabbed the other one. Basically, both of them ended up in hospital. The parents met up at the hospital, and when the parents met up at the hospital, they realized there were 2 cousins stabbed each other.
Oh, wow.
Because when the parent came and then the other parent came, the two parents are cousins.
Oh, wow.
Or related. He said, what are you doing here? Oh, I come because just the son got stabbed. He said, oh, their son got stabbed too. Oh, they stab each other. And they realised the parents was related.
Wow.
You understand what I'm saying?
So the relationship between the two mums weren't very good?
No, they were good. They were tight. But the children, the boys came from two different ends.
But what I'm trying to say is that they didn't have enough of a relationship so that the children would have met.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's changed. The family value is changed. You see, if we got a cousin in Brixton, somewhere along the line, in our time, our parents would make us know that cousin. But in this time, you got a cousin, you could be in Edmonton, and you got a cousin in Hackney, and you don't know.
It's true.
You have a beef with him.
It's true.
Stab him up. Next thing you know, he's your cousin.
It's true.
You see what I'm saying? My brother went into a bank to get some money from a different area. When he went into the bank, the woman behind the bank had the same name, came from the same place. We realized that that woman was cousin. But imagine if her son and our son had beef.
You know, that just brought something to my spirit just now. Well, that would be amazing then, as a solution. Then, wouldn't it be nice if we could? Send all the pictures and make our own tree on our computer, say, like a visual image of all our family members, because in that sense it would stop postcode wars in a way, because you would realise that some of these gangs are related based on other needs. But if you could have these images and you knew where they were located, it would go a long way to sort of like breaking down. No,
it can. Then that you could have a problem with the next guy, and he sees the same site with all the family images. He knows where to find him.
Yo.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, at the end of the day, we've got to do something.
What we need to do is educate our children and let them understand that the system has failed them, the system has used them and misled them. Yeah, that's what's happened to them. Our children are still eating crackdonuts. They're still eating crack in a box or chicken in a box. They're still eating this food which has got nothing to do with their cultural identity, or it's not their food. The Chinese man will eat Chinese food. The Indian man will eat Indian food. You understand what I'm saying? The British man will eat fish and chips. Our youths will eat anything. Most of them. You see them in McDonald's. You see them in the kebab shop. You see them in the chicken shop. You see them in the
smelly chicken shop, though.
Yeah, the one that you can smell the food from the corner. Oh my
gosh, the smelly chicken shop. The one that you can smell that the oil's been in there for months or something.
And half of our young youths can't even cook for themselves. So this is why they end up going to these fast food things, because they never either had the time to learn how to cook, couldn't be bothered to learn how to cook, or the parents was too busy working that they didn't take that time to say, come, we're going to go and cook some food. Come. I said, I'm going out, Mom. I got to. No, you're not going nowhere. Come, peel the banana. That's why we used to live. We had to cook. You understand?
Do you see any way in which we could be tackling teenagers? Are they too far gone? Are we now going to have to focus on preschool kids, which is an irony, really, because if 2020 is anything to go by, we will have to. We've done years of doing the Black History Month, and but the transgender situation is getting priority, and that's becoming compulsory teaching in school by 2020, and Black History is not getting a look in. So how do you feel we're going to be able to save, if you think we can we save these 15, 14, 13-year-olds? Can we?
Of course we can.
Good.
You're still here, innit?
I'm not 15, 14 or 13.
But you was one time.
Yeah.
But imagine.
And I would want to say to the 15, 14-year-olds and 13-year-olds, if you are listening, just by chance, your mum's just left your phone on or whatever, it's such a... I've gone through so many things, and all I can say is I love life at my age. I'm not even going to tell you my age, but I love life. I've loved all the experiences I've gone through, and I've loved all the kind of genres of music. I love what black people have brought to the world. I love exploring life. And I think it's just a sad thing to think that, you know, right. You at 13, 14, 15. What? I'm coming. But I just want you to know that at 13, 14, 15, that if you can come and take a young man's life, you can easily lose your life. Do the maths, you know.
They don't care.
Come on, let's not be so, no.
Listen, you got
Not
some
all,
of them.
some people will care. Many
Some
of
of them
will come
don't
out of
care.
it.
When I say that they don't care, I'm not speaking for all. Let's say we're speaking for a small percentage of them.
Right.
That don't care.
Right.
Right. What it is that, as I said before, they don't know who they are. Right. And then one of the things that they don't know is the value of life.
Definitely not.
They got no idea about the value of life,
Come on.
the meaning of life, or how precious life is. How come they don't know these things?
But they've also got the assistance of a system that wants to, because like I'm saying, at the end of the day, the one thing I know for a fact, and I don't care what anyone has to say, I'm not looking friendship, I'm looking awakening. I'm looking for more of the awakening amongst stuff, you know. Our relationships, that's why it's critical that our relationships, black men and black women's relationships, actually, you know, moves faster in the right direction. Gone are the days where we want to see single families, or we want to see families, you know, we want to see good communicating families, because we have to be looking at that, because that's where, like you just said, where a lot of the issues are coming from. But, you know, I just really want to say to the young people, please think about it. That if you stab and kill someone, you're helping the system who wants to see you destroyed. You're helping a system who wants that to happen. And I really want you to have a little bit more understanding, at least about that they don't have your best interest at heart. They're manipulating you to kill someone, and you're not even thinking why you're doing it. And in the future, if you're sitting in a prison cell and you come to that understanding, you're going to realize, and I just don't want it to be too late. Let's change this. Okay, so can I play some music now?
Right. Let's touch one more thing before you get on that.
Okay.
You can play the music now. As we said back before, they don't know the meaning of life. And some of them are caught. It's a two-way thing. Some of them don't know the value or the meaning of life. They don't know the consequences of their actions. Yeah. I think we're going to talk about that after the tune, because this bit here is a kind of long thing. Yeah. So we're going to play a tune, and then we're going to talk a little bit about the youth and how we should teach our youth the meaning of life and the value of life, and how easy it is to dead.
Excellent.
You understand?
That's brilliant. That's brilliant.
All right, cool.
So here we go.
Never left them chrome thing. You King Selassie University walk and for down the poor room thing. Youngsters do them one thing. Never left them chrome thing. Munga price of the power and first of course, and that's I don't now the pagans them a pray. Me run cover, show me a link with sharp man and straight D. And you know so me flow them sick, me learn from Shango and Tracy. Right. Me grip 9 roll with Tech 9s, Mark 90s and KG. Better them stay cool like KC. Okay. See, hey fool, it better you stay cool. True. Lightning me flash, me na play pool. You can't stand now liquid. DJ Wayne from cool face, now J cool. Kingston send me every to Port Moran. Talk short tempered and ignorant. Munga real bad man. Ask anybody front around. Youngsters do them one thing. Never left them crumb thing. The King Selassie I first city walk dance, but now the poor room thing. Youngsters do them one thing. Never left them crumb scouts and the praise of the far right first of course, and that's the thing. Bad mind, we not compromise. When we said turn them a improvise, then rise 2, 4, 5, make them beat and sync like when the beat synchronize. And I got one more thing to emphasize. You're gonna ball, I now sympathize. Call my gun pattern beat like all the own jump pattern. When the phrase synthesize, so stay tuned for the 101. I stay hotter than 102. CJ Liquid run 103. Big up me talk them from 104. Yeah, catch it vibe from 105. Cause we got more power than 106. And a DJ we run 107.7. Everything youngsters do them one thing. Never left them chrome thing. The King Selassie University walk dance, but now the poor room thing. Youngsters do them one thing. Never left them chrome thing. Munga praise us the far right first of course, and that's I know one thing. Now the pagans them a pray. Me run cover, show me a link with sharp man and straight.
ready. And you know some flow them sick me learn from Shango and Jay-Z. Right. Me grip 9 roll with Tech 9s, Mach 90s and KG. Better them stay cool like AC. Okay. See? Hey fool, better you stay cool. Lightning me, flash me, na play pool. You can't be stand now liquid. DJ Wayne from Cool Face, now J Cool. Kingston send me every to walk around. Talk short tempered and ignorant. Mungari Batman, ask anybody front around. Youngsters do them one thing. Never left them chrome thing. The King Selassie I first city walk dance, but now the poor by room thing. Youngsters do them one thing. Never left them chrome thing. The praise was the far right first, of course, and that's the thing. Burn bad mind, we not compromise. When we set trend, them a improvise. Then rise 2, 4, 5, make them beat and sync like when the beat synchronize. And I got one more thing to emphasize. We gonna ball, I now sympathize. Call my gun pattern beat like all the own jump pattern. When the phrase synthesize, so stay tuned for the 101. I stay hotter than 102. CJ Liquid run 103. Big up it up them from 104. Yeah, catch the vibe from 105. Cause we got more power than 106. And a DJ will run 107.7. Everything youngsters do them one thing. Never left them chrome thing. The King Selassie I first city walk dance, but now the poor are something. Youngsters do them one thing. Never left them chrome thing. Munga praise us the far right first of course.
hello again. This is Sister Moorino with Brother Bless in the house. Many thanks for listening to us again.
Yep.
And I know Brother Bless is going to talk straight away, but one thing I want to focus on is that we have these issues, and we are all different generations, and we all really, really care. I definitely care about the young people that are being attacked, and how young they are, and how vulnerable, and how scared they feel. I feel scared for them. I fear for them. And I'm praying for more prodigy type children to be revealing to even their young people. I don't know what to say. What do you want to say, Brother Bless? I just really feel lost. I'm really sad in my heart, because every time you stab one of them, any child, you're stabbing me, especially amongst the black children. I mean, every child, it doesn't matter what race they are. But within our community, I'm really offended, because I look at places like in Africa where HIV and AIDS have wiped out generations. So they've got an older generation, but they have no young in their generation. Is that what we're going to wait to watch? Are we waiting to watch that all be depleted here because of a system? No, I'd rather us take back our powers and become our own government. But before we become our own government, we're going to have to learn the value of life. So I'm going to hand this over to Brother Blessed.
I'm going to talk to you as well. All right. But the value of life, yes, we haven't taught our children. Some of us haven't taught our children the value of life, how important life is. We're not, some of the ways of our parents that was handed down to us, you know, what was drilled into us, respect your elders, certain little things that was drilled into us. Did we do the same thing with our children, or did we decide to ourselves, I don't want my child to grow up like me, I'm not going to do what my parents did, give them everything they want?
Yeah, but you can't talk about women like that. Well, you wouldn't say that, but you wouldn't make the fun of a man like that. Don't do that to the women's.
No, man. Well, then you represent them then.
Well, just don't give them.
No, I have to do that, man, because the mothers, from my point of view, I've seen mothers spoil their children. I've seen mothers protect their children when their children's done wrong.
That's true.
And they know daddy's going to come home and bust their ass, and they say, boy, don't let your dad find out, you know, because he's going to go mad. And they're frightened what daddy's going to do. But daddy has to do what daddy has to do. But sometimes mother prevents it, instead of being there to control it so that father doesn't overreact. You understand? But at the same time, stand by father so that the child knows that there is a unity there and there's a bond there and they are together. You know what I mean? When you're wrong, mommy and daddy is not going to condone it. But when mother decides to say, all right, don't say nothing, I will talk to your dad. Wrong move. Wrong move.
So no,
right? No, because I'll give an example. There is some children that go out there and they do certain things and they get in trouble at school and certain little things, and sometimes the mother does not tell the father what's going on, because, i.e., they're frightened how the father's going to react. But if they reason with the father and between them they work out a strategy how to deal with these problems, instead of waiting for them to come and just react. Sometimes your father might have a bad temper, he might be moany, he might be ignorant, he might be whatever you don't like. And if you've got a parent like that, then that's where the mother comes in and say, well, look, make we deal with our son. We've got to talk to our son together, sit him down and do this together. We made him together. We deal with this situation together. In some circumstances, there is no father figure, so that now the child grows up not learning how to be a man. But so he has to learn from the streets. He has to learn from life. Life has to teach him his mistakes and what he's doing wrong. He doesn't want to wait till it's too late. Or, for example, when I was sitting in a cell and you said, boy, this is it, man. And then the penny drops and you realize why you're here in the first place. And then you realize, I didn't really have to do that, you know. I had a choice.
You really had a choice.
I had a choice. But at the time, you don't think that you've had a choice. Before you get yourself in any altercations, you don't remember you do have a choice.
Well, I think that's important to say. But like we're talking about, we'd like to talk about ourselves as black people as if we have the same experiences as other people. But for me, legislation it has properly put us in the you know, the problems that we face, that we're now in a situation where you know, women have been directed by design to be in proficiently in good jobs, and men have felt like they were more emasculated by the kind of monies that sometimes women were making. And so relationships suffered. I mean, there was so many external factors having impacts on our family, and have been. And some of the fears with the women have been that slave mentality that, you know, when people talk about women being raped and in slavery, or when they were pregnant, that fear was bred into them. Whereas that's one thing that we have carried on. You say there isn't that, but there is that, because that's why when it comes now down to revolution, will we as a black family, as a woman and man stand together in revolution? Will there be weak links in that revolution? Because we do definitely need to separate ourselves from this rubbish called a system. Somehow, some way, we have to, so the children have a chance. We can try, but they're working, they're doing their puppet thing over us. The woman this way and the man that way. And as long as we understand what they've been doing, it's time for us to understand that it's all over. Because when they do wipe out all these children, they're definitely coming for the older people, and they're definitely coming for all of us.
It might not work the way they want it to work, because, you see, there is a situation where these youths, these are the ones that's going to be taking over when we decide to ascend from this plane, right? So by the time they grow,
if they're here, though, Brother Bless,
yeah, if those that remain, those that are here, they so because there's enough of these youths are wise. Don't underestimate them because you see them hanging on street like they dumb and they just want to sell weed and this and that. Some of them are, I know some of these youths, and some of them are so knowledgeable. When you talk to them, they can talk to you about metaphysics, they can talk to you about chemistry, they can talk to you about all different kind of things. You know what I mean? Astrology. But yet some of them are still out there doing their shotting because it's about the paper.
Yeah, because the system isn't. We've got no youth centres. We've got no places for them. We've got no places. This is the law. This is what the law is doing. It's taking away their opportunities to be elsewhere than their home.
Well, so why can't we build our own?
Well, we need to.
The Jewish man build his own. The Indian man build his own. The Turkish man build his own. The system was there, but yet they still came in and still open up their shops up and down the high road. You know what I mean? They open up their mosque everywhere. What privilege they have? They got unity. They have unity.
But they have unity. They didn't experience the slavery like we experienced slavery. The 400 years is not over. We are still on the planet. Yeah, it's not over. It's not over in so far. No, it's not over on a physical level. We're experiencing it. Like I said, I walked out of the studio last week and saw the blood on the cloth, on the floor outside, where a young boy was running to the police station to safeguard himself. He didn't want to die. He didn't want to die. He might not even wanted to go to the police station. They most probably be laughing in there. Look what they're doing out there.
Yeah,
shut the door. Don't let them in.
Yeah, obviously, because you know, what I mean, some of them are killing each other, but people don't realize. Sometimes some of the youth them get caught up in what you call a whirlwind kind of thing. Like you have to watch your back. That's why when I first came on, I was talking about the school that I went to, which was an old boys' school. I had no choice but to be that way, or man will walk over you. So you're gonna make the man them walk over you, or you're gonna be a soldier. You got followers and you got leaders. Yes. You understand what I'm saying? So when the youths them are out there, sometimes they get caught up in a little thing where they want them, and next thing you know, all it takes for you to do is be with somebody that's harmed somebody else. You don't have to be the bad guy. You could be moving with the bad guy. Don't realizing this bad guy has stabbed somebody else from another ends. You're with him. His brethren who are after him sees you with him. He's not going to ignore you. No. Because you're with him. He's going to think, well, you got his back too. So you're both. Go for both
they're
of them.
paranoid, especially with the kind of materials that they're smoking.
Right. I'm going to give you some example, which is how dreadful some things can be. Yeah. I think it's also boiled down to the food that they eat and the television and the media. They've sucked up into this system so much that it's taken them away like a piece of log on a river. And sooner or later, they're going to come to a waterfall or a cliff and go over the edge. That's when judgment come, either prison, hell, or death. Yeah. So looking at all of these things, you will realize that some of the youths them didn't have a choice. Not Bob Marley, Buju done a tune, circumstances make me what I am.
We were talking about that the other day.
I'm not a violent man. Right? I can reflect to that. I didn't want to be the way I used to be, but it's the circumstances that I was put in. I had no choice.
But what changed you? What changed you from bringing a knife to wanting to be such an innovator that you are?
What changed me?
Yeah.
Hell.
Talk to me.
Hell. I experienced hell.
Well, can you tell the young people what your hell was?
What happened? Like, this is what I'm trying to show the youth them. And I mean, I always tell my sons them, do something with yourself before yourself do something with you. Wow. Yeah? If you don't do something with yourself, with your life, life will do something with you.
That sounds like what we were taught, the devil makes work for idle hands.
Right. So this is what happened. So I was doing my little thing, thinking that, and one day I found myself in hell, literally. And there's sewage everywhere. It's like a corridor. There's different parts of hell. People might say hell don't exist. I used to say hell don't exist. But when you see it for yourself, you're saying like, if this place don't exist, what am I doing here?
Oh, wow.
If it don't exist, how come I can see these things? Nobody wishes to say, I can find out if hell is real. No, they don't. Something triggers it off. So this is where you have the bigger hand. Or maybe the Almighty might say, you are one of mine. You should not be doing this. Enough is enough. I will show you the consequences of your actions if you don't stop.
Amen, Ra.
Right? So, it's, my art, the judgment.
Yeah.
Yeah? So, I found myself in hell. And it's like, there's different parts of hell, but this part now is like you're in a cell. Cell smaller than this room, about a quarter the size of this room. And in the cell, all I have is a table. And on this table is a Bible, a massive Bible. And I'm in there reading this Bible. I don't know. I know how I got there. Yeah. Because I was in the wrong place at the wrong time and something happened and it triggered off this roller coaster thing and I ended up in hell. Yeah. So in the cell, all I got is a table and a big Bible. So I'm reading this Bible in hell. But through the door, you can see the sewage. Like if supposing like your sewage pipe bust. Like
Shawshank Redemption when he has to swim through the.
I don't know about that, but it's sewage. Yeah. So you can smell the sewage, and you can see the water under the door because it's like a cell. So you can see the bottom of the door because it's like about a 4-inch gap.
But the water's got. Just let's be honest. The water had shit in it and all.
It's just sewage. It's just sewage. I didn't bother directly examine what's in the water. You can smell the water.
Sewage.
Yeah, it's like sewage. It's like a sewer. When you can smell the sewer, you can smell all this thing like sulfur. Like if your boss are shut, you can smell sulfur. Yeah, you can smell that there as well. So I'm there, and there's like a corridor, and there's doors on both sides, and there's people banging on the doors, screaming. Help me, let me out, and they're screaming and bare terror and torment is down there. So I'm saying to myself, why am I here? But I was in a cell by myself. So I was in there long enough to read the whole Bible. Now, that shows you, how long would it take you to read the whole Bible? More or less a year, 2 years.
Could be about 6 months.
It depends, yeah. Even if it's 6 months, yeah, I was there long enough to read the whole book. Because in the spiritual realm, there is no time. Time doesn't exist. You know what I mean? So this is why they say when they get eternal life, eternal, it means forever. That means when it's forever, there is no such thing as a clock or time. Yeah? So these youths them don't realize the consequences of your action. I'm not telling you, say, oh, this heaven and hell ain't real and the devil ain't real and this and that. I'm saying you will find out for yourself if you do not stop what you're doing. If you do not decide to yourself that I want a way out, please help me, the creator, whatever you want to call yourself, God, the universe, you want a way out, that's when things will change. because you've already done your bad things. You've already done hurt couple man. You've already done rob and killed couple people. Now you saw the light and say, yo, I want to come out. I want to change my life. Brethren, first of all, you have to go through what.
Or sistering, because
or girls too.
Yeah, absolutely.
You got to go through the judgment of the things that you've done wrong, and you're gonna face all the people that you've hurt on the spirit in the spiritual realm. Because when you kill a man in the physical realm, his flesh might be dead, but his soul and his spirit still exists.
Yeah.
So now, when you are in hell or in another spiritual plane, that person exists.
Exactly.
So when you die after you've been being the bad man for years, you think, oh, that's the end of it.
Yes.
No, it's not the end of it. Because what happened to all those people that you killed? You think they're not going to be waiting for you when you're dead?
Either which way, you're not.
Either way, yeah.
Either which way, that's even if you're killed and you're going to be a gangster at 18 and you don't mind dying and you're gangster like that, it isn't finished for you then.
It's not finished, because some of these people that you've killed are also in hell. And they're waiting for you to come so they can torture your backside. You understand?
And also that you don't want to listen to the Most High. I think that if you're not listening to the Most High, he's going to relinquish his rights over you. And I think that's what we're trying to say.
Yeah.
And what you're saying is that you felt like you had that opportunity where the Most High was trying to direct you. But if you give up the right to be led by the Most High, you're going to find it really difficult. And also you're taking out wonderful people, that especially people that could be amazing in the future. And we need to protect and safeguard our young. It's never been about us as black people. I don't care who's listening, from Africa, from the Caribbean, to be taking each other out and to have no respect of each other's person. And so it must come to a stop. I don't care how that comes to a stop, but it's going to come to a stop. And I'm hoping it's going to come from our community, that we are going to come together and seriously just take the streets back, because we have to do something.
We're going to do something. It's going to happen. It's going to happen.
And also, can I just add, though, I just wanted to say a little thing, not to go too far away from you. I just wanted to add, though, I feel like with this kind of UKIP people and them people there, Brother Clifford was saying last week, it's not the problem with law, it's the problem with the people that administer law. Yeah, and these people seem to be a fraternity. So many black people have said they've been bullied by networks or multidisciplinary teams. Like these hand servants are of a certain clique, and they work in every department, be it social services, be it in education, and they group together to bully individuals in our community. And they also within the school manipulate our children, so they don't even have respect of relationship that we have at home. So we just need to bring back our relationship, our families back to ourselves. We have to cut the strings from this relationship with the system. It will never be in our favor. And the quicker we get to realize it will never be in our favor, the quicker we're going to make something happen and change.
True. So yeah, that's a good point there. You know what I mean? So even going back to what I'm saying, what changed me and what turned me around, I don't want the youngers, youth man them, and young girls and young boys. I'm sharing this information with you to warn you that no matter what you do in life, yeah, everything, it will be a consequence. You know what I mean? What you do is a cause and effect. There's always a reaction. We can call it karma, you can call it whatever you like. But all the bad things you do in life, you never will get away with it. It might not be now. It might be 5-10 years time. When I went through one of my hell experience, it was I realized it was going back to the things I used to do 20 years before.
True.
You know what I mean? And I realized, God showed me, say, yo, you're a bad dude, you know, bro. You know what I mean? You need to look at the things that you have done. And God showed me some of the things that I used to do. And I like, why? I felt shame. I felt so ashamed, because when you're in the presence of the Most High, all it is love and clean and pure and power. You understand? And compassion and truth. Yeah. and true judgment, because the judgment of the Most High is true. So the Most High showed me what I did. The Most High didn't have to show me. But he showed me because he knew he had another purpose for my life. So he's saying, look, before you destroy yourself, make I show you where you're heading. It was a dreadful experience. I went through this experience for about 3 years.
Wow.
Yeah. So there's lots of stories I can tell you on this. But it took about a 3 years experience. You understand? And I'm trying to warn the youngers. I'm not blaming them because sometimes, as I said, would you show your circumstances makes you what you are. Some of you are not violent. It's just a situation that you've been put in. You have to defend yourself. Somebody comes back to you. You have to defend that. Next thing you know, you're on a warpath because you don't know who's coming for you. But it all started off because you was defending yourself innocently. You understand? Sometimes these things can happen. So when we're looking at the youth them, realizing that there's no jobs for them. No you understand? Jobs. Some of them don't have no father in their life. You understand? Their mothers go bashment rave and a skin out and all kind of things. I'm not saying all bashment rave is this and that, but some of the things I've seen on the bashment raves and the way some of these women are being bed to the dance. You understand what I'm saying? And our children are growing up looking at our people doing this. This is what our people is doing. And we are supposed to be the children of the Most High, and this is what we do. You understand?
Yeah, I know. I don't want to be too hard on the black people. I feel like we've had enough hardship. What I am saying,
you have to be hard on them.
You have to be hard, but I think one of the real injuries to us is that we don't see where it's really coming from. Just the sophistication of racism and the power struggle we have. Because if we had the economic freedom, we wouldn't be talking, we wouldn't be having this conversation. We'd have things in place for.
But look, I tell you about racism though. In our time growing up, racism created unity
amongst black people.
Amongst black people, because we knew there was danger out there, and we needed to watch our backs, and we needed anybody we can. If you go anywhere on the street and you see a black man, well, go on. Yeah, that's how it used to be. But if you see a car pull up with some white people in it, your thing is, if they slow down, I'm gonna run.
Snatch.
Just to run. You know, that's the first thing to run. Like with the sus law and racism, we had no choice but to stick together because we couldn't trust nobody else, because we didn't know if they want to kidnap you, kill you, lock you up, beat you up. We couldn't trust them when I was growing up. So we had to have unity because we had no one else that we could trust. But our children.
But unity was nice. I love this. I love the elements of what I was seeing as a young person in the late 70s, early 80s, because then I saw a lot of that unity that they wanted to destroy. I saw that being dismantled in the 80s. What was going on in the latter part of the 70s, what was happening in the early 70s, what was happening in the latter part of the 60s. All of those things were nice elements when the system has always gone about its business about separating the man from the woman.
Because it's a fearful thing. Have you ever, certain times, when you walk down the street and you see about 5 black men on the corner, sometimes the energy is like, yo, them look a bit serious, you know. So imagine how another culture will see it. They will be frightened, some of them, to see like 5 black men on the corner. They're going to say, you know, sometimes you walk past white people and they hold on to their bag. You're just walking past them. You understand what I'm saying? They got this fear factor, some of them.
No, I do that as well.
Yeah.
When I see some of the white guys, they come up to me, come past me, I pull my bag close so they can have.
Yeah, so because it's reversing.
Give them an experience.
Yeah, but we used to do that. We like they, you know what I'm saying? When the white people see us, they used to hide their bags on this. But now we're the ones that's like, we see a white person now, we don't know if they're gonna thief your bag, pick your bag. You know what I mean? You have people coming from different ethnic groups and coming in different nationalities, coming in to pickpocket and rob and steal. So when you're at the bus stop and you see like a funny woman beside you or a man speaking some funny language, you think they're going to rob you. But before it was the other way around. So to me, I look at these as signs of things turning around. Okay,
well, we have to come to some conclusion now because we're running late. I'm actually quite surprised. We should have started at 4 o'clock. There is, I'm not even going to say CP time, black people time. That's not right. You know, we should have started. Yeah, we should have started earlier, but we started and we're here and we're going to stay consistent. We're going to stay on the run of talking about the issues that face our community. All I want to say, my rounding up. Do you want to say something to round up before we finish?
You got time, man. Yeah.
Well, I definitely want to play, you know.
Some of your rude gal.
Yeah. Because music, let me be honest, music really, really is a healer. Our music is a healer. We have wonderful things in our community. I just want to thank all the innovative people in our community. We have a wealth of everything in our community. And I would love that to shine more. I know that the sun would shine if we had the kind of feelings about the young people that we have about our community. I'm not saying that there aren't great young people. There's amazing young people, but this element that's out of control, it needs some.
Yeah, but not all the youths them are not all the youths them are bad.
I never said
as I said, but we put that out to our people.
Definitely.
Not all of the youths them are bad.
But we don't want to lose them ones in any indiscriminate problems that are taking place either, do we?
Yeah, we don't, but sometimes in war there's going to be casualties.
Right.
You understand? And you got the soldiers on the battlefield. I was one of the soldiers on the battlefield. I was brought up to be a soldier on the battlefield. My dad brought me up that way. So sometimes my youth them now grow up and see me and think, say, you're a horrible man. But yes, you can call me what you like. But at the end of the day, I was brought up to protect my family, because my dad had to protect his family. He brought his children up to protect his family from the dangers that he saw. Now when my generation come, I'm protecting my family, but now the danger is not so in your face no more. It's subtle and hidden under the table, and it's disguised now. But back in our day, it was just open. You know what I mean? So when the youth them say, well, I had to be the way I am in a community, in a kingdom. You have workers, you got this, you got soldiers, you got all different in a colony of ants. You got different ants that do different things. And you have the soldier ants, and you have the warrior ants, and you have the nurse ants, and you have the nurse. You have all of these things to build up this ant community. But when we as people, or me, decide to be a soldier ant, there's a problem. But that's what builds a community, that's what builds a kingdom. You have to have these things in place. But once these soldiers know their role, then they will know their role is to protect their kingdom. Come on. The community. Definitely. Right? But the youths them don't know their role. But all they know is that they need to put food on their table. They need to make a money. Mum is on her own. I got a little brother to look after. My mum's not working. I got to make some peas.
It's stressful for all of us.
You understand what I'm saying? And that's what they're on right now. Some of them.
Yeah.
So,
and a lot of them still love their mothers.
Yes.
And they do, and they are being young kings out there. But I just pray for the healing of our community, and I really do want us to get some more professional assistance in the future to speak about it. I'm not going to stop speaking about it. I don't think we should stop speaking about it, and until we remedy the situation. And one of the remedies that we're going to have to learn to communicate. We're going to have to learn as man and woman to communicate with each other and do the healing amongst ourselves. And it's time for us not to let the issues of the system that enslaved us, let's stop liaising with them in the way that we have been. I feel like that affects us. Even the middle class blacks, they had houses back in the day. You know, they've lost, a lot of them have lost their wealth. A lot of them haven't sowed great seed either. It's not just only working class, poor, impoverished people. There's been issues with middle class black people as well. They've had their shortcomings as well. At the end of the day, all I'm saying is I'm not going to stop dealing with the young people. We have to deal with them. We've got to hit this thing head on. And, you know, who dares to live, who dares to die lives, you know. So let's dare to live. And we might die, but we're definitely going to live. Trust me.
You know what I mean? You have to die for a cause, not because.
Yeah.
You understand? And directly, we're going to work out this thing. The youths them need us. The youngest one need us. They're not that bad. Yeah, and they just need guidance, and they need some love as well. That's one of the things then why some of them are the way they are, because love is a very powerful thing. And if you don't get the love you need, you're going to go and find it some way. If it's from your brethren, or they call my dog, this is my dog. You know what I mean? One more thing, I'm going to leave off because I want to talk about it for another time. I also hold some of the black church responsible for this situation that we're in, because according to the Bible, the church is there to sustain the community, to look after the flocks, to look after the sheep, to make sure that the community has food, nobody's starving. everybody's well fed and looked after, and then the church looks after itself. But our church, to me, some of them sell out, and the amount of money that some of these churches make can build a school for our community, can build something for these youths them.
Definitely.
You understand what I'm saying? The millions that they got, these mega churches, and church have big car, Rolls Royce and Mercedes and big house and 5 church. But you're not giving nothing to the youths them if we don't go to your church. If you have to be born again. No, brethren, you guys need to come out and build something for the youth them, because you have the wealth of the black people in your hands and you're keeping it to yourself and your church community, when you're supposed to go out to the poor, go out to the children, go out to the single parents, help them.
Okay.
You understand? But you don't do this, and you have to deal with the Most High when your judgment come.
That's what I was
You
going to say.
understand? You have to deal with that, because when you have your big pretty car, you know, say vanity, all is vanity. Look after the youth them.
Look after the youths there,
Look
man.
after the youth them. Give them something.
Well,
Look,
just sorry.
Go on, I
Yeah,
don't talk. I don't.
No, go on. Say
I
what
was
you
gonna say,
said.
give them. Where's the homeless shelter? Look how much churches. Where is a homeless shelter?
Come on.
You walk from Edmonton clean to Shoreditch. You will find nearly 80 churches. I done the walk. And I look at, and I cross about at least 50 churches. Yeah, from there to there.
And
So
not one
where's our school? Where's our old people shelter? Where's them going out giving food to the poor? Where? You got 50 churches in one ends, and there is nothing set up for your community from the church.
We'll have to talk about this
You're
another
telling
time.
me I must go to the councillor, go to council meetings and beg the council to help the community. No, the Bible, the same book that you preach from, teaches you that you are supposed to be helping your community. You, not Caesar, not Pharaoh, you, the church, later.
That's fabulous. That's fabulous. That is true. It's so passionate. Brother Bless, you are so passionate. The reality is, though, that the young people are at the forefront of the symptoms that we're seeing right now. We here at Bless FM are not interested in any more lives being taken. We take offense to it, we take issue with it, and we're fearless with it. Okay, so we're just going to end with this last track. So this is Sista Moorino. I don't know if I said my name in the beginning.
Marina.
I'm sure I said
you
Sista
said your name,
Moorino.
Marina. But today we're talking about the youth stem today.
Yeah, we are.
And we dedicate this show to the youth stem and the single parents as well. You know what I mean? The fatherless out there as well, and the motherless, those who have lost a parent and never even know what it's like to have a dad. Some of you who've got a dad out there and you know your dad, you're lucky you have one.
Just communicate, though. Just communicate, Brother Bless. Let's just end on a note.
Yeah.
A man and woman needs to communicate. You see all the malice and rubbish, man. Let's not lose our children. Let's not lose our children because we have issues with our relationships. Let's learn how to communicate. Let's learn how to heal.
Okay.
You know. Okay. And so I'm going to leave. This is Brother Bless.
And this is
Sista
Sista
Moorino.
Moorino.
Okay.
All right.
So have a fantastic afternoon. Hope to see you soon. In other hours. Yeah.
Yeah.
So bless up.
Never cease and never stop. Hey, King Selassie, Rastafari, the tremendous burn Babylon and tell them so. Yeah, I want to make them know this. See, I tell them this. That what that them. I see them shaking. I see them quaking. Them this the king, I know them make a mistaken. I see them shaking. I see them quaking. I know them barriers and them chain will be breaking. I see them quaking. I see them faking. Them this the king, I know them make a mistaken. I see them quaking. I see them shaking. I know me catch them debating. That what that them. Well, them a tremble like a leaf. This money well I me kick out them teeth. Well, righteousness they get to use them a preach. Babylon missy said that the whole of them a thief. Put another fire upon them world police. People blood and oil Babylon want to leak. Now tell me about no humanitarian relief. Got too much innocent life wasting in the street. Alright then, I see them working, I see them shaking. Them this the king, I know they make a mistake. I see them working, I see them shaking, and them no love no missy say them hating. I see them shaking, I see them working, I know them barriers and them chain will be breaking. I see them working, I see them shaking. Well, we got judgment again, that one that name, yo. Well, over 400 years, full time the wicked man, them change them gears. Righteousness, they get to use them, declare. Fire upon the eagle and the dragon and the bear. Burn them far and burn them near. None of them a bow and me say none of them a swear. Weapon of mass destruction and nuclear. When me see the whole of them a spreading in the air, so me say again, I see them working, I see them shaking. Them is the king and now they make a mistaken. I see them working, I see them shaking. Righteousness the whole of them try forsaking. I see them working, I see them shaking. I know them diss me and the whole of them begging. I see them working, I see them shaking. Well, we got judgment again, that one that them eye. Well, get to youths to live right. Babylon them teach us to fuss and fight, but righteousness they get to youths invite. Me burn Babylon no whether day or night. Burn them dirty legitimacy say it not right. But another boy they will not stop from bite. But another boy they will not stop from fight. Why they want pop off all and next man strife? Well, unity strength and tell the people unite. And stop from all the whole leave of guns and I. Wow, 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 wow. I see them working, I see them shaking. Them this the king and now them make a mistaken. I see them shaking, I see them working. I know them diss me and do all of them baking. I see them shaking, I see them faking. I know them barriers and them chains will be breaking. I see them faking, I see them working. Well, we got judgment again. Alright then, my sister them a fail, but Rastafari give them its
no cigarette smoking in my room. Yeah, I still want Marley. Bless FM radio, play good.
African people.